Hi cherries, it's Jessica here from A Cherry on Top, and today I'm showing a process video of a layout I made using some items from the March Cherry Box. The March box is filled with Vicki Boutin items. This includes a lot of mixed media and some of her really great ready-to-use mixed media paper, which is what I am matting my photos with right now. I put them on some foam tape so that they would stand up from the background a little bit. And using this paper just makes it easy. You get an added mixed media look without all of the effort that sometimes can go into mixed media. This paper is in the Cherry Box, and it's really great because it's thicker than your usual paper, so you can even add more mixed media on top of this. Like you can use it as a background. Or you can use it as is because they're beautiful papers. Now I am using some glaze. This is also in the Cherry Box, along with a stencil. It'll be a set of Vicki Boutin stencils, so there will be 3 stencils in the Cherry Box. This is one of them, and I am just holding it down and using a paintbrush to brush this glaze over it. This glaze is like a really light gray color, and it's kind of shiny. It's really pretty, and it just lightly is in the background. I'm using some mixed media paper. This is the Vicki Boutin 12x12 mixed media paper. I just recommend using any thicker mixed media or watercolor paper for this. Now I am using the art crayons, which are water soluble, so I just scribbled some of the pigment on a piece of plastic, and when I add water to it, it picks up and it acts just like regular watercolor. These crayons are really so fun to play with. You can use them as a dry pigment or wet. Right now I'm using them as wet, and I'm just splashing it around my page. I'm not taking a ton of time to consider where the paint will end up. I'm kind of using I'm patting the paintbrush on the paper so it gets a little splattery towards the edges. And it's a really wet look. Like I have a lot of water on my paintbrush when I'm going through. With watercolor, it's easy to continue to build up the color. It usually dries lighter than what it is when it's wet, so you'll probably need to go back into it multiple times. Something that I thought would be cool with having the glaze and then using the watercolor on top of it is that the glaze kind of created a barrier so the watercolor doesn't absorb into it, so you can still see the glaze come through the watercolor. I really like how these crayons come in the sets of 8 with colors that are right next to each other on the color wheel. This makes blending really easy, and the colors just will always go together. These are all cool colors that will be in the March Cherry Box, but Vicki also has some neutrals and some warm colors. Now I'm doing the watercolor dance of going back and forth, adding more. I always love some speckled look, so I'm going around and tapping my finger on the brush, and I'm really happy with how it's turning out. Yeah, you guys just gotta try it sometimes with the watercolor. Now I am placing my photos down. These are photos from a fun girls' day where we were shopping in Frankenmuth, Michigan. I don't know if you've been there before, but it's a cute little town to walk through and shop. I'm actually using some express glue from Sizzix, and this was in the February Cherry Box. I like to use my Cherry Box stash all the time from past months and current months, and sometimes I'll even throw in some future months and just not let you guys know yet. Now I'm just placing some ephemera around. There is a pack of ephemera in the Cherry Box. It's from the Storyteller collection, which was such a beautiful collection. I really liked so many things about that collection. The Vicki Boutin collections are just always beautiful, and butterflies, and really so easy to use. This was a tag from the ephemera pack too, a nice vellum tag. Whenever I add a tag to anything, I like there to be something in the hole of the tag. So I just added some embroidery floss to fill it. And now I'm just kind of scattering around my butterflies and other ephemera pieces. These mini envelopes are also in the March Cherry box, and I cannot get over them. They are so adorable. And there's a little slip in there of lined paper that you can do some journaling on, which is what I did. It's like a little hidden gem, really. I love the mini envelopes. When I add ephemera around my photos, I like to have the one side that's by the photo, I just add some glue so then it's tucked up nice and close, but then I add some foamies around the outside of it so it looks like it's popping out and it's not just flat against the photo. I also like working with wet glue when I'm positioning things because you have a little bit of time to move things around, and I really like and use that little bit of time when I'm messing around with ephemera and positioning my photos. Now I am using the same stencil that I used at the start of the page with the words all over it, but I am sectioning it off so there is only one little phrase showing, and I'm going to use some texture paste to fill it up. Texture paste will also be in the March Cherry box. As you can see, this is already a filled cherry box, and there's so many fun mixed media goodies and beautiful papers and ephemera. You'll see more spoilers throughout the month too, so make sure you stay tuned for that. When applying texture paste, you just need a light coat, and the texture will come through that stencil. It'll be the depth of the stencil. I decided I needed a little bit more of the watercolor, so that's what I'm going back into now. I wanted it to kind of travel up the page more by where I have the texture paste. I'm using that as my main title, so I just wanted a little bit extra around there. And whenever people are using mixed media, we hear all the time that they're nervous about it and they don't know where to start. My advice is always just start somewhere and just start doing it. You won't know until you try something. This is actually the second background that I filmed trying to make this layout because my first one just didn't turn out how I imagined it. So the worst that happens is you just grab another piece of paper and just try it again. Try something a little bit different. Just go for it and have fun. This is another piece of ephemera from the packet that I'm using. I'm distressing the edges and then I'm going to curl them up a little bit so it adds a little bit more dimension. I'm always curious what everybody else's favorite mixed media technique is or what product you like to use. I'm all about the texture paste and the watercolors. I think there's so many things that you can get done with just those two things. Let us know in the comments what you like to use for your mixed media layouts. I had so much fun making this layout and I really like how it turned out. It's so light and yet I used 3 different types of mixed media on it. You have until February 25th to subscribe to the Cherry Box to receive this March Cherry Box. I think it's a really great box to get started for anybody who's interested in mixed media or would like to try some new products. I will put the link to that in the description, and thanks for watching.